It's hard for me to paint without that palette. I don't like squirting paint out every 2 or 3, every few seconds having to put out new paint. Okay, we are going to, I have, like I said, I brought some pumpkins here, the ones that I've already got finished, so I'm going to show you these. And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to show you more about the designing and getting your design on there than I am actual painting them. Because once you get your design worked out, the painting is just, there's no shading or highlighting or anything to these like you do with a lot of stuff. They're just painted. Just the paint is put on there and you got polka dots and, polka dots and stripes. It's just a matter of, getting your design on. So I've got some started with designs that I'm going to show you how to do. So it'll be a little easier for you. And I went ahead and started some, and I'm doing some different sizes. This pumpkin comes from Hobby Lobby, and it comes in 2 sizes. This one, you're getting this short squatty one, and this one is a little bit taller, and I have no idea what they cost. I always wait till they go on sale. And then last year I probably bought 50 of them. So just watch your local Hobby Lobby for when they go on sale. They'll go on sale 40% off first. So watch your Hobby Lobby for them, and then you can pick them up. This one is just black and white checks, so I'll show you how to set that up. And this one is just each rib. See, these are ribs, there's an indentation, so that helps you to do your design, because there are ribs on there, gives you a guide to go by, and it makes it easier for you to work on them. Okay, so we've got those 2. And I'm going to, this one is one of the tall ones. And let's put my glasses on. Okay. Little late, Lana. If you come in late, you can always go back and watch the replay. Everything stays on, okay? The hard part of these is kind of working around that design of the pumpkin, and it has that curlicue in it. But this is the prettiest pumpkin that I think I have seen. You can buy any, and I'm still not sure what they're made out of, but I do know they break because I cracked one. I've got one here that's cracked, so I thought, well, I'll paint it and either give it to my granddaughter or use it myself. I think it's this one. Yep, see, I cracked that one. And so I think it's some kind of resin, and it's, hopefully it won't come on apart, because we'll be careful with it, but it's not something I could sell, so I don't know exactly. But they're hollow inside, and if you drop it on the floor, it's going to break. So I don't know exactly what that is, but it's not paper mache. It's heavier than paper mache, so I'd say it's resin. And but now you can get these in different sizes. If you look at my pictures of them, you'll see I've done some bigger ones. Doing the bigger ones is no different than doing this size, because it's just a matter of getting your design on there. Okay, I'm going to do this little one here first and just show you how to line up if you're doing black and white checks. If you want to just do the checks like this one, then you're going to use, and I've got my little cardboard pieces here. If you haven't cut you out some of these, girls, especially for these small things, you got to have something. You always got to have a guide to make your checks and stuff, so you've got to do. This is just poster board or cardstock, and I've got them from 1/4 inch or 9/16, yeah, from 1/4 inch up to a 1 inch here in these 4. So according to what size I want these to be, I'd say this one right here that I done before, that's not quite a 1 inch, so that's probably a 3/4. Okay, so the only thing that I'm going to do to get my black and white design on there would be to start at the top. I'm starting right up here at the top where the stem is, and I'm going to lay it down on the first what do you call these, ribs. The first rib, I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to make a little mark underneath that cardboard. Just one little mark. Then I'm going to go from that mark right on down to the next one, and the next one. If you want it, I did one of these where I did checks, every check a different color, and that's pictured in my thing. And that's exactly the same way you would do this one. Continue that right on down. And then you got to do each of the things like that. You got to do each of the ribs the same way. And don't pay no attention to that, what you've just done on the other one. So you got to come around, go all the way down through there, and check each one. Once you get your pattern on there, you're home free, because it's just to take your colors, choose your colors you want, and fill them in. Now when I get here to where this one's covered up, that's what's going to be your hardest part, is working around that stem. So I'm going in there and putting my little marks, still in the same way. But right here I'm going to have to turn it a little bit and kind of go up in here. I'll have to kind of guess at that one when I pull those across there. In the same way with this one down here. I'll have to kind of follow this line from that one. Let's see, follow from that one over to here, but I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about. Okay, now when I get that all the way around, when I get those little black marks all the way around, then it's freehand. Okay, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to take little bitty hatch marks. If you try to go from one to the other, you'll inevitably end up with it uneven when you get around there. So you got to do it easy. You got to come in and put little hatch marks. These humps are rounded, and you just follow your little line. Go from one of the marks you made right on over to the next one. Down here and right on the next row. And if you get one on this side, like I've told you before, if one on this side is a little different from one on this side, nobody's going to notice it. But if you measure these as you go around and you do it this way, you'll have them exactly the same. But that little mark that I've got in the center there, which is hard for you to see because I've got a little black mark there, and I'm working my way from where that indentation is in that rib right over to that center little mark. I'm following it all around with little hatch marks. If you try to make a long line, you're going to screw up and lose your design. And if you do, you just erase it and start all over. See, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I've got a line. See, I've put it, it's so light you can't hardly see it, but I've got a round line coming all the way around there. I went, and those were spaced out. In between those were spaced out with my thing. Now, some people go in there with a magic marker and do that, but a magic marker is, I don't want a magic marker on in my paint, so I never do that. But some people go ahead and do that. They put their marks in and then mark it with a magic marker going around there if they're going to paint it black. But I don't like that. I just want my black paint. So I've got right over here again. And I would do that right on down. Through every rib I would go back and do that. And then just continue that around, all the way around the piece until I'm done with it. Take my pen, pencil, and follow right around that top. Now if you're going to paint these all different colors, like the one, I've got one on my page there that's in every check's like a different color. So that way you don't have to figure out where you're going to put what. You just don't want to put, I don't have one of them that's done here. I've already sold them. I just had 3 or 4 left from last year. So if I was doing that, I would just start with whatever color. Say I want to start orange, and I'd just stagger them. I'd put an orange, one, an orange, one, an orange, one, an orange, one, up and down until I got my orange in. wherever I wanted them. And then I'd go back with my next color if I was using blue, but I would never put two colors, two orange right beside each other. And then you put some black ones, leave some white ones. But now when I did that, I used all different colors in there. And you can, if you want your checks to be smaller, you can divide this rib. And if you've done that, you have to do that free-handed, and it's got a hump in it to where you should be able to do that. You start up here at the top, and you just edge your way right down the middle between that section. And then you go down, see I've got two sections of checks on each one, okay? So, let's see here. This would just make a lot more black and white checks on there. You could do your ribs, do one of them black and white, one of them blue and white, you know, one of them orange and white. You don't have to do them all black and white unless you just particularly like that. Okay? Down here and go across again. I see that's around my where my stem is at. And when you get in there with your brush, you got to use a small brush to get down in those sections that's around that stem. Get another section of them in. Just take my little cardboard piece and I'm going right down the rib of the pumpkin from the top to the bottom. So that you don't get into so many different colors. If you wanted to do some black and white checks and some others, decide which sections of the ribs. Say I'm going to do every other one black and white. If it works out to where you can do that, which it doesn't because you have an odd number of ribs. But you can decide, you know, maybe I want to put 3 of them black and white. I do 1, 2, and 3, one on each side. Then I do a blue and white one, a blue and white one, a blue and white one. You know, scatter them out so that you don't have 2 in the same row. You don't do 2 just alike. I think these little cardboard things are the easiest things you can do for checks because they are so bendable. Anything you're checking, you can use these. Checks or stripes, either one. When I spray these now, most people like them real shiny. So I spray them with a spray triple thick usually. This one, if you can tell that one, it's very, very shiny. That's in a spray can, and I'm not sure what the brand is, whether it's Krylon or others, because I don't have it in here handy. But it's triple thick, and it comes in a spray can. And that really puts a high shine on something. Continue my little marks on around the pumpkin. I'll be around the whole thing. little bit off there. So I've measured one of them wrong. Okay, so I'm going to go back now and see what I've done here. I've got to get that one. I've got to get this one raised up a little. See, that's why you got to measure as you go. So I'm erasing that one off. And I'm going to take it up a notch. I've got it where I got in behind that stem there. I got a little out of whack. So you got to be careful with that. So I'm going to come from this side around. Yep, that'll bring me around the right way. When I went under that stem there, I got a little bit out of control with it and went the wrong direction. So we got it a little bit too wide. So I just erase that off and go again. These little gum erasers are the best for the erasing. Your pencil erasers just leaves dirty marks on it. Gene, yes, they did come from Hobby Lobby. Surely better late than never. This will probably be the last class I do, girls, until after I get my surgery. I did post the mice today, the church mice, and if you are interested in doing a set of them when we do them in class, which will be sometime in August before I probably get to do them. But if you're interested in doing your own set and you want them, they're $55 a set, and I'm only cutting what's ordered and paid for. So somebody ordered, we sold 2 sets today, so Joe will cut them as the orders come in. And then you'll pay for them probably about the 1st of August, and then get them shipped to you. And they're $55 for a set of 4. Now, these things are dimensional, so they're, they're not... Each mice has his body. He has a separate base, naturally, to put him on, and he has a bow and a book. So there's 4 pieces to each of the mice. Okay, now let me go down here and put my centers in, since I'm going to make all these different checks. I did that snowman. I love the way that turned out on that picture, and I can't remember if I bought that picture new or if I bought it at the thrift store, girls. So if I bought it new, it come from Hobby Lobby. I will look when I go in again, because sometimes when I'm in there and they have stuff on sale, I just grab one of them and take it, and I just happen to have one of those. So I really don't know if it came from Hobby Lobby or not. But most of the pieces I buy new come from there, so you can check and see if you can find one. But he turned out beautiful, and I sold him today just as soon as I put him on. Okay, now I'm going to paint like a couple of ribs of these just to let you see, how I do. Now I divided the rib, divided it this way, so I've got checks on each side. So now I'm going to mark my checks. Like I said, put a mark in all your black checks. And Leonardo, I know our Hobby Lobby has fall stuff in and some pumpkins, but I didn't look to see if they had these. But I'm going to be in there tomorrow, so I will look to see if they have them stocked yet. Okay, I'm putting a little X in each one that's going to be black. And then I'm going to skip a rib. I'm only going to put 3 rows of black in here. So I'm going to do that one. Then I'm going to do this one. Let me get up here in this thing. Like I said, it's a little tedious when you get into the under this thing here, under the stem. You just got to go down to a smaller brush to put that in. Okay, I've got one over there, and I'm going to go one over here and put a black and white one. Then I'll choose other colors to do the other ones with. Okay, now I'm going to put out some black paint. And I don't need a very large brush. See what I've done with my brushes. I don't need a very big brush to go in those spots. Make sure you have a good flat brush. I'm going to just wet it to condition it a little bit. I don't use, there's no painting medium tonight. Nothing has painting medium. We don't need any of that. So, okay, hello Connie. Hobby Lobby's not, yeah, that's right. Hobby Lobby's not a public company. So you can't buy stock there. We could own stock in Hobby Lobby. That'd be a good thing. Okay, now I've got my black on here, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to very carefully start with my black checks. And I'm doing the ones, I marked every one that I'm going to do black. And watch your edges, because you're going down into that rib, and you don't want to get way down in there where that rib is, so you have to be careful when you're going across and coming down. Pull you down, let the edge of that brush do your edges so you get it nice and clean. See, I've got one check in there. Then I'll jump over to the opposite side, and I'm going to do this one. I'm doing every other one down this rib black. I don't pick up very much paint. I'd rather go back and pick up paint for every stroke than I would to have so much paint on there that I get it all over everything else. Doesn't take very much paint to cover, because that's real nice and smooth. Turn your pumpkin however is necessary for you to be comfortable with painting it. To the next one. Okay. Do I use Zen brushes? No, ma'am, I don't. My brushes are from Hobby Lobby. The Zen brushes are so hard to come by, and I don't fool with. I tried ordering them from thing to try them out. I've never used them, so I can't tell you anything about them. But these brushes come from Hobby Lobby, and they're they are a class pack. And you can get 25, 30 brushes for $10 when they're on sale. And I go through brushes so fast. But they come a 4, I think a 4, a 6, a 10, and a 12 in flat sizes. And they are perfect for me, so I don't, that's what I use. There may be a picture of them on my video where it says questions and answers. But if you'll go in, they're, somebody tell me here, I think, what's that name, something touch. The brushes are, wait a minute, maybe it's got it on the thing. No. Let's see what isn't up here. They go on sale every other week. Fine Touch. They're Fine Touch, and they're called, like I said, it's a class pack where you get a whole bunch of brushes in one package. They're not expensive, and they're not, of course, I don't even know what Zen brushes cost you. But you use whatever's good for you. Try different brushes. But keep your brushes, you have to, if it's a flat brush, you got to keep it flat. So you have to watch how you clean it and take care of it to keep that flat edge on it. Because if you paint with that brush and do this, you're going to mess up that edge. So you can't, you got to use them the way they're made. If they're made to use flat, then that's how you got to do your strokes, and you keep your brush flat. And if I get a little bit of stray hairs on them, then I trim them with scissors. But I also keep them, and then when I wear them out, I use them for other things. You know, then I use them for things that I don't matter what the brush does. So you get quite a bit of wear out of them. Can't beat it for the money. Okay, now I've got one section. See, I've got one section of that painted down. It took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checks there to do that one. Now, if I wanted them checks to be smaller, I would have just went down to one of my smaller papers here and would have made those checks smaller. So you can do them as small or as big as you want. So I've got that section, and let's see, this was my next section over here. I'm just going around and putting so many black and white, and then I'll choose another color and do. You don't even have to check it all. You could do a row. It's just straight paint, you know, straight color, like these. See this one? I've got black and orange checks on here. Then I've got a solid color, and then I've got a blue one with white dots. So you choose your design. I've got 1, 2, 3 designs here that have, well, this one has black and orange checks, this one has stripes, and they went across. So you choose your design, you know, whatever you want to do in your design. You don't have to be, you know, it don't have to be anything precise. It's your choice. Move your phone closer to you. Missing part. Missing part of me. I'm not using a phone, Janice. But what are you missing? You're seeing what I'm painting. Janice is my buddy from here. Okay. I never use a phone, girls. I don't use my phone for anything but making phone calls and GPS when I travel. Sometimes if I'm sitting in the doctor's office or something and nothing to do, I will, you know, turn my phone on and maybe check messages or check Facebook or something, but I'm not a phone person. I have an iPad, have a laptop, I have an iPad, I have an Android tablet, so I'm just, and I have a desktop, so I'm on all different things besides my phone. Cutting some of my work off. Let's see. Okay, let's see if that gets you a better view. I've got it up above me because that way you can see what I'm doing, what I'm painting. Okay. I'm only going to paint 2 rows of these black and white because I want to go on and show you the design of another one. Okay. And if I just sit here and paint a whole pumpkin, you don't learn half as much as if I jump around and do some different things to show you. Because once you get started painting it, it's just a repeat. Just repetition of what you're doing to get it painted. Learning how to get your pattern on there, and you got it licked. Okay, now I've got them. See, I've got 2 sections of black and white checks on there. Now when I finish this, I'll go ahead and show you that. When I finish all the ribs on there, I'll go back with my liner brush. Uh-oh, I got my thumb in that one. Let's see where my towel's at. I'll go back with my liner brush. Let me get it over here. To make my checks and stuff a little neater, I'll go back with my liner brush and I will put a line down between each of these ribs. And sometimes I might choose gold. You don't have to use the same color to go down through there. So sometimes I may wait till I do gold and do gold down through those lines. But I will line them between them. So I'm going to put my brush in a little bit of water and then into my black, because I want that paint to be real thin when I'm using that liner brush. Then I'll hold it straight up and down, and I'm going to go right down the middle of that rib. And I will do that all the way around, regardless of what color I put on each of those ribs. I would probably go back with the black to make the line down the ribs. See, I put a line down through there to divide those. It would probably be black or gold. I'm tongue-tied this evening. And when I paint the stem, I'll paint one of the stems tonight too to show you. If I'm going to paint it, I brought my little bottle. Yeah, I brought this gold over, which is the one in the bottle. This is called Classic Gold, and it's liquid leaf. So if you want a good strong gold, you can do that. If you want the antique look in the gold, the way I usually do the other things, then paint that stem black first, and then use your gold that, use the Empress gold out of the bottle. Okay? So I went down, I've outlined both of those. Now I've got that down, and I'll go back and put some drag in those. But I'll let that dry a few seconds, and I'll go over here and show you the next one now. Now I wanted this one to be different. I don't know if you can see that pattern or not. I've made that pattern to go up this way. I'm probably going to have to paint it for you to see it. But I took my pencil and I came down and made me I did the same thing as I started with my other one. I started here and I made me a mark, and I made a center mark on each one. Then I just went from that mark down this way, and I made a V shape. And then right under it, I made another V shape. So I'm going to have to paint one of them for you to see what I've got. I've got these are going around this way. So I've got a line of those at the top, and then I did another line at the bottom. I've measured me a little spot up. That one's a little bit farther up. So you decide. This is like a 1 inch from the bottom. Made one mark right here, and then like a 1/2 inch or so from it, I put another just freehand, and I went across like this in a half moon shape. So I've got dips around it like this. So I'm going to paint those in a solid color, and I brought over some metallic paints. I think I'm going to try a metallic color. This is let's see, I've got a metallic teal here. Let's see what this looks like when we paint it on this pumpkin. I've not used these metallic colors yet, but a lot of people are using them, so that doesn't look like it's mixed up very good. they're new, so I haven't used them. And I want that color to be strong. Okay, that's better. This is a beautiful metallic blue. Now I'm going to go ahead and paint these little sections I've got around here so you can see what the design is. Well, that's a pretty color, but I'm going to have to put 2 or 3 coats on it. So we'll try it and see what it does. If I don't like it, we'll cover it up with, with another color. Nope, that's not going to work. It's too transparent for it to look good. So I'll choose another color and put them on. But you can see what I've done. See how I went around that, went up on it in a hump. Okay, I'm going to put me out another color here. Let's go with this. This is Folk Arts Teal. Let's try this one. Because I wanted to do it, I'm going to do the top of it in orange. So let's paint that orange in first. And this time, I'm not using that orange I used on the other day. I want a bright orange this time. So I'm using, it's called bright orange. I've got a bright orange and I've got a spiced pumpkin. So, and I can't remember what I put on this one over here. See, this one is orange, and I think it's this bright orange that I put on it. So I'm going to try it first. And I'm going to make the top section up here orange. So let me get me just a little bit bigger brush. That won't work. Let's go with this one. Okay. And I'm going to go in here and right along the top I'm going to paint this whole section with this orange. And it too will take a couple of colors. A couple of coats. When I'm down here, I'm going to go right up. That's just like a oval there. I don't know what to call that shape, but just a half moon. So I've come up in a dip there. And I did that just with my pencil, edging around after I got that top mark on there. You just have to kind of eyeball it to get that other one around there. But like I've told you, if this one over here don't match this one over here exactly, it won't matter that much. As long as you got them close to each other, that's all. You can't, nobody's going to sit down there and measure each one of those to see if you're exactly the same. If they do, they don't need to. If you get them way off now, that'd be a whole different story. But if you're just a smidge different, it shouldn't make a big difference. You could do this orange, and you could even do that stripe around there in black. You choose whatever color you want to choose to go around that. And I'm not being so careful up where the stem's at, because I'm going to paint that stem. Mackenzie Childs this year's got some with just the flowers on them. I'm not too, I probably do a few of them, but I'm not as fond of them as I am the stripes and the checks. I like this orange manna. It's bright and it's pretty. If you're displaying them in your home, then the more color, if you're going to put a bunch of them together, then make them all different colors. We'll do this one in orange and teal, and we got a stripe at the bottom. We might even do it a little bit different. Now I'm down under that little stem there, so you just got to be careful and get your color in there. Won't matter if you get it on your stem, because that's going to be painted a different color that will cover up over this. That's the only thing about having these stems, you got to work around them. They're pretty when you get them done, but you do have to work around that stem. Might be that you could put the regular teal underneath that metallic color. I could put the teal on and then put the metallic over top of it, and it would give you that shine. Okay, see, I've got one coat of orange, and see how you can see how it dips down? It dips down around that. And I did that. If you can see that, I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can or not. There's a pencil mark right under that, and then another one about a 1/2 inch. So that little stripe there, see where I've got the color on there? That little stripe is about a 1/2 inch around there that I've put the stripe on. But the only thing you can do, you can't bend your card to do that. So you have to just take your pencil and put your little mark up to the top and a little mark right under that, and then you go from here up to that mark and do that, and do the same on the other side. Come down, and you'll be able to get them pretty well even. Okay, now let's switch over to this teal color while we're letting that dry and see how it comes out with that, what I had on there. Ooh, that's a pretty color. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the same as the metallic, just a little darker. Not the shiny that you get with the metallic. See? I'm just kind of going up the hump there. One and two. That's almost the same. You can't hardly tell the difference in that. But I'll have to go back and paint this one just to make sure. Put it over top of that. Then I may go back and put a coat of the metallic as a very final coat, since I have to put more than one coat on them. I'll probably put the metallic on top of that, and then it'll show up good. It'll just give us that real pretty shine. And that metallic paint is from, it's Deco Arts Metallics. I got them at Hobby Lobby. They have all different colors in the metallics. Okay. Now I'm just going right on around with that. When you're doing this little tedious work, you have to hold your mouth right. Orange and metallic, yellow pretty. I like doing the odd designs like these better than I like doing the checks. The more design to them, the prettier they are. If you got any questions, girls, stick them in there. I can see some of your questions. I can look up and see there. So if there's something you need to know, just let me know. My dog and my cat are chasing each other here. I might get lucky enough to have my paint room finished by the time we come back, by the time I get over my surgery. The guy's supposed to be here about the second week of the month, probably about the time I go to surgeries, when he'll be out here, the carpenter will be out here to work on it. See, I'm under the stem now, very carefully. If you need to go down to a smaller brush when you get into those spaces, then that's what you do to get your design in there. We'll paint the Coke bottles too when I get back to classes, girls. I'll have the Coke bottles. I hope that my therapy don't keep me down to more than a couple of weeks. You know, doing the therapy. I don't know if he'll come. They'll come. I'm going to have home therapy, so they'll be here 2 or 3 days a week. And I hope I'm back up to getting around good within the first 2 weeks. Couldn't be no harder getting around than I've been waiting to have this done. I like this. I like this color. I will have to have 2 coats on the orange and 2 or 3 if I use the metallic on the other. See how pretty that is? When we go back and get the other colors in, now I've got another section on the bottom here where I've got a stripe around this way and the other. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to paint the bottom. This bottom right around here is going to be orange also. So let's go over, flip over and do that one. So the top, the very top, and the bottom section. We'll have a top section up here that's orange and a bottom section down here that's orange. Okay. So let's go down here and paint this one. Put my first coat on there. And when I made that stripe down there, it turned out a little bit bigger than that other one, so that's no big deal. Just like I meant it to be that way. If you make a mistake and somebody tells you about it, say, no, that's not a mistake. I meant for it to be that way. There's no mistakes in painting. You can always turn it into something else. No, Betty, I'm not going to leave the middle white. I may do that in black and white checks or black and white stripes. Could leave it white if you chose to, but I want some color in there. So I'll probably either put some stripes or some black and white checks in the middle. I sprayed these pumpkins before I started, girls. I sprayed with my spray paint like I do all the time. But since I was going to leave some of it white in places, I went back and painted a coat of my white acrylic over top of them. So if I decided to leave a section white, then it would really be white, you know, be real pretty white. But I just took them outside and I spray the stem and all. I can't remember what color they are when you buy them. I haven't bought any this year, and I don't have any that's not already painted white, so I don't remember what color they were. I would say there's something dark, but I don't really remember, and even the bottom's not a color. Can I see what my brush looks like with the paint on it? I don't have much paint on there. See, if I was to put that on my hand, I don't even have enough to hardly, just very little paint on my brush. And that's why you see me pick up paint often. I don't want a big glob. And when I go into that paint, I never go up into the middle of that paint. If you'll look over here on my palette where that's pulled out to the side, that's how I load my brush. I pull that paint out to the side to load my brush. Because if you get a big glob of paint on the end of that brush and then you're going in there, then you may create problems by having way too much paint on your brush. I'd rather go back and pick up paint over and over and over as to try to smooth out a big gob of paint that I've started with. And some paints cover in one coat and most don't. Very seldom when you're working on a white background will you find paints that really give you one coat coverage. That red I use on the Christmas snowmen and stuff, that red is pretty much one coat coverage. And of course black is, but now most colors you're putting on, if you get a good color out of them, you're going to have to put 2 coats on them. We've got some little miniature snowmen and reindeer that Joe's gonna cut, so I'm anxious to show you them. They're just little small pieces that you can paint and then set in your Christmas decor. Hey, Dana. Okay, see, I've got that bottom painted around the bottom down there. And it's scooped up just like got a scoop in it just like the other one does. So I'm going to now put me a coat of that teal down there. Put my brush over there in the water to clean it. Go down to a smaller one, a little smaller brush. Always clean your water when you wash your brush. My brush basin has a grid in it. Thanks for the hearts, girls. My brush basin has a grid which helps to clean my brush when you rake it back and forth over that grid. And then I squeeze the water out of it on my paper towel or whatever I always have a rag sitting here. So I'm going to go down here now and put the coat of the teal in here. Okay. Now see that? This one's this way and this one's this way. So the top one and the bottom are opposite. Okay. Now, go right on around. Thank you, Peggy. All you ladies that are new, I hope you'll hit the follow button and follow us and come back and join us. Let your friends know so they'll join us too. The more the merrier. See, this stripe on the bottom is a little bit thicker than that top one. But that's okay, because that's the way I drew it. And there's no way I was going to sit there and try to make them both the same size, because that's hard to do when you're working in two spots like that. And there's really no way to measure when you're doing in a circle like this, so you have to guess at it. You have to put those two little marks in there and then take your pencil and do the rest of it freehand. You'll learn to do that as you go along. It's just getting the confidence, girls. What are my brushes? My brushes are, what did I say a while ago, from Easy Touch. They're from Hobby Lobby. And if you, when you go to the, in fact, I think this coming week brushes will be on sale. And they're usually $18.95 or $19.95 for a package. And there's like 20 or something like that in a package, and when they're on sale you get them for $10. They're Easy Touch, and they're called a class pack, and they're all flat. Now they have class packs that are round, have round brush stuff in them. You don't want them. You want the ones that are flat. They have like 6, 8, I think it's 6, 8, 10, and 12 sizes in the flat brush. And you've not spent a fortune on them, so you know you have to replace them a little more often. That's okay, because they haven't cost you that much. Now I buy some. If I go down to little tiny brushes, if I have to use a number 2 or you know, little, when I go down to little bitty brushes like this, I buy a better brush and I try to take care of them. Because if you're doing eyes or something and you need a little tiny brush, see, this one is, gosh, I don't know what size. Let's see what size that one is. They go down to, this is number 2. See how tiny that is? So when I go down to that small of a brush, because they will wear out real easy if you don't, so I buy a better brush when I go down to them. So just look through the brushes and pick you out some, and I wait for them to go on sale. For years I bought everything that I did wholesale, and I dealt with the Viking Woodcraft, which is still in business. They're a great company to deal with, and I dealt from them from ever since back in the early 80s when I had my shop. But they're out west, and now by the time I pay postage to have things shipped to me, even though I get the wholesale price, I have as much money in them as I would just go to Hobby Lobby and buy them when they put them on sale. So there are just a few things that I still order in the wholesale market that I can't, you know, things that I can't. They have the best sponge brushes on the market, so I always order a big box, like a case. I think they come 36. If you're using a sponge brush and just buy those things at Walmart or something, they're not worth it to use. See, I got a little bit of paint up there on that white, so I'm going to have to take my sandpaper, let that dry a little bit, and then I'm going to take my sandpaper and knock that off of there. Got my finger in it. Could leave some of these ribs white, paint some of them black, put polka dots in the black ones. So there's a million ways for you to do them, girls. Just choose what you want to do and go for it. Sometimes if I mess something up really bad and Daryl cleans it for me, he dips it in, I believe it's mineral spirits. He can take a metal piece or whatever and dip it down in that, or mineral spirits, or I don't know, it might be gasoline, and it takes all that paint off, if it's something I've paid quite a bit for especially. Now I'm going to go back up and put another coat on this top up here and see if it comes out the way I want it to. See if that 2 coats is going to be enough, since I'm working with this color. So I'm up to the top and I'm on my 2nd coat of the teal. These are time consuming when you're working on smaller pieces like this. They're time consuming. And like I said, I would work on 3 or 4 at a time, so I get, don't get my fingers in wet paint. Then I would put the stripes on one and then go to the next one and do whatever I'm doing to it and work back and forth on them. I think that's going to get us a good coverage, 2 coats. That orange may take 3. When I did this orange one over here, I did the same thing. I brought those out to a point like that. Then when I did these, I just put a little brush mark there and 3 little dots under each line. And I put the little white dots up to the top. Little bitty dots around each rib to do that. But that one, I like that one really well. Thank you, Eileen. Eileen, I think it's Aileen. I'm horrible with names, girls. And I never remember people's names. That was so horrible when I worked even in my shop. It's not because I'm old that I can't remember names. I've never been able to remember them. And that's very embarrassing. It's like the ladies at church. I've been going to church over there for 10, 12 years, and I told them, I said, ladies, if I look at you and say, hey, you know it's me, because I just cannot remember names. I'm lucky to remember my own name most of the time. Glad to have you, Carrie. I'm glad you come in on the live, too. I've got 2 coats on that, and I still will probably go back and put the 3rd of that metallic on top of that. That really don't show you the true color in the camera there. That's a real pretty shade of teal. Now let's go back up here and put another coat on this orange and see what it's going to do. It's going to cover pretty good. Probably take 3 for that one too. I love pumpkins too, Diana. I like the fall and the Christmas, I think, better than anything. I love working on Christmas stuff. And I used to be a big decorator at Christmas before I moved to Tennessee. All my Christmas stuff's been packed up in outbuildings since I come to Tennessee. I'm lucky if I get a tree up. But when I lived in West Virginia, I decorated big time for Christmas. I love that. I always had parties and stuff. And here we're just a little bitty family, just the 4 or 5 of us, and I don't do much of that anymore. But I love the decorations. I don't know if you girls know what kissing balls are. Used to decorate these great old big balls. We got them at Old Time Pottery. Used to get them, and they're about yay big, 10 or 12 inches. And then you decorate, do flower arrangements and stuff on the top of them, and you can put mistletoe and stuff on them. We used to do those. I've still got some of those. But last year I painted one in checks, but I never did get it decorated. But I think I've got some. May do that this year just to show you how to decorate one, because they hang from the ceiling. Yep, this one's going to have 3 coats too. That looks better. I've got 2 coats on there. Now I'm going to jump down and show you what we'll do to the ribs down here so that we can't put over and over and over on coats. And I need a little piece of sandpaper. Let me see if I've got a piece here. I should have, but I can't find it. Well, I need to sand that. Hold on just a minute, girls. Let me see if I can get a little piece of sandpaper over here. What I did is I got a little bit of my color down on. See, I got a little bit of my teal right there. I'm gonna take a little piece of sandpaper and just very lightly sand that off. And if I need to, I can always put a little white paint over that very easily. Okay. I'm gonna have to go back and put a little white on that. Okay, right down here I got a little bit. Okay, now it'll take me just a touch of white paint and paint those little spots where I sanded that off. Now I've got to decide what I'm going to do for the things. And let's see, if I go down, see what we can do here. Okay, I'm going to first, I think I'll divide the ribs and see. Let's see if I put stripe, if I put a stripe there. Let's see if I've got much to do to put a stripe on there. Got to be careful because my orange is still wet. I'm going right in the middle of that, and I'm going to bring a stripe down there. Come down, and this is a 1/2 inch. I've used a little 1/2 inch cardboard on this. So I'm going to put a I think I'll put a black stripe inside of each white one in the middle. Okay, so I'm going in, bring it up, bring my design. Okay, come right on around, putting a 1/2 inch. Now this is a 1/2 inch cardboard, and it's bendable because it's cardboard, so I can bend it right around that pumpkin. And inside each rib, the middle of each rib, I'm going to put a black stripe. See, you can decide your pattern as you go along. There's nothing that says, you know, you can change it and do, but you can start out with one thing that you think and you're going to do, and then by the time you get to a spot, you think, well, I don't want that. I'm going to do something else, and you just change it. Debbie, that's the way I am. The older I get, the less I want to do, because I don't want to have to put it up after the holidays. But now I don't mind leaving my snowmen out all year. But now my house is small now. I don't have a big house anymore, and I can't leave things out like that all the time. But I used to have snowmen that I left out all year round because I like them. Now I've got that. See, I've got a stripe in the center of each one of those, and I'm going to paint that stripe black. So, get my brush cleaned up here. Dry my brush so that it's good and dry. And let me check my black paint to make sure it's still good and not dried up any on me. Okay, now I'm going to take my brush, kind of fits my stripe here, my size. I'm going to go right in there and put a stripe down through there. Still not loading too much on my brush, and I'm letting the edge of that brush, if you got a good brush, that edge will make your design for you. See how nice and straight that edge is over here on this side? Now I'm going to go back over here and come up the same way on the other side. Come right back up on that side with that straight edge of my brush, and it gives me a nice finished edge without having to work very hard. Just the control of that brush. And my brush is controlled with my little finger, girls. See, down here and go down here. Now, see how pretty that is? I've got orange and teal, and then I've got a black stripe down it. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to put that black stripe in each one. Thank goodness I don't have to paint that black but one time. What do you use a foam pusher for? Okay, Lorraine, what are you calling a foam pusher, honey? I'm not sure what that is. Are you talking about just 1 inch or so foam brushes, 1.5, 2 inch foam brushes? If you are, when I paint wood, I like to do it with a foam brush, because if I'm painting white on wood, I don't care much to do. You do it with a brush. I like to use a foam brush, and I push it instead of painting it back and forth this way. I push it on. Takes less paint, and I get a better coverage. So that's mostly. And when I was doing a lot of big wood pieces, I varnished with a foam brush. Take a road trip to my house for in person. If I had room to teach you, I'd be glad to do that. But right now I'm sitting at my dining table. If I was younger, girls, I'd go at this again like I used to, and I'd have a place down here to teach and do like I did when I was in West Virginia, but I'm done past that point. If you come one at a time, I can paint with you. See how pretty that is? Now, I like that. See? And I may put some polka dots in where them white ones is at. I appreciate that, Pam. I like trying to help you. I mean, I've taught all, just about as long as I've been painting, so. And it makes me see Nancy. Boy, I got to paint on that one. Got some spatter there. See if I can get that off. Nancy Wolf, I believe it is. She's been doing. She has a home here, has a place in the valley out here, and she's been painting with me now for the last few months, and she finished a piece, done a beautiful job. And she told me, said, when I told her it was beautiful, she said, "You don't know how that makes me feel." I said, "Well, you don't know how proud it makes me to know that I've been able to help you do that." Trying to keep my fingers out of it, girls. That's hard to do when you're painting something round and going around and around it. Trying to keep your fingers out of the paint is hard. That's why I like to work on more than one piece at a time. Now I'm over here where my stem's at, so I'm working right around that stem. We're going to paint that stem in a few minutes so you can see how to paint him. And I think I'm going to have to go down to a smaller brush to get that right in there behind that stem. See, I'd put that in my mouth ordinarily, but I can't talk if that's in my mouth. So let's go down to a smaller one and get right up in there where that needs to be, in this little place right here. Trying to keep my lines easy. Not lose my design. Okay, got it in there. That's the only place where I'm in the stem, so that's good. The rest of them's just out in the open. But always make your brush fit what you're doing. If you're working in a small space, get you a smaller brush. The bigger brush you can control in the space you're in, the better off you are. If you try painting a 6-inch space with a 1-inch brush, you're going to be working for a long time. So always make your brush fit your project. So if you're working in small spaces, you need smaller brushes. Couple more, I'll have this section's done. One more. like that. See how pretty that is? I see I may go back and put a black dot under each one of these V shapes here. But I think I will pull a line. Let's go back up here and put another coat. I want to try to get part of it finished. We'll not worry about the bottom. But let's put another coat of orange on the top and see if we can get it covered good. See if it covers that. Come on, brush. Okay, I'm going to go back up here to my orange and put another coat on this orange. Okay, I believe that's going to get it. It's going to get her coverage, 3 coats. Because what I'm doing on the top, I'll do on the bottom too. So if you don't see me do that, you know it's the same thing. I've got to pack boxes tonight still to ship tomorrow. We've got 10 million people in town this weekend. My granddaughter's working at Dollywood tonight. I bet you they're jam-packed. Which I told mine this evening. My granddaughter said something about that, so many people. I said, well, it's like this. I'm going grocery shop in the morning, and then I'm going to stay in the rest of the weekend. That's the only thing about living in the tourist here. Of course, if we don't want to go where they're at, and that's what makes this town work, is the tourists. So we love them being here. So we just go in other directions when they're here. Now, in the wintertime, the nice restaurants and stuff, we can go anywhere we want and eat out and, do whatever you want in the wintertime, and there's not that many people around. But when it's full and season is full, then we just go in different directions. I can be over in Knoxville in 15 minutes and, shop or whatever. So I just don't go to town unless I absolutely need to, which I need to go to Hobby Lobby, so that's what I'll do in the morning. And I'll pick up groceries while I'm going to Hobby Lobby, which are across the street from each other. We have a sign here. Some people have it on their car, and it says, if they call it tourist season, why can't we shoot them? Like deer season, we have tourist season. Why did I move to Tennessee, Debbie? I've come to Tennessee for the last 35 years. I worked the show in Tennessee, the Gatlinburg show. So I've been coming down here that long to work the Gatlinburg show. Then in 1990, when my daughter graduated high school, she decided to come to Tennessee to go to school for tourism, go to tourism school. So she moved to Tennessee. Right out of high school, she came to Tennessee. And when she done that, Darryl and I went ahead and bought a place here. We bought some property here with a trailer on it. And she lived here. And she lived here the rest of her life. And then Miranda was born. And we still came and done the show every year. We have the other property where we have 2 trailers on it, an older one and a nicer one. So we would stay in one, and she and Miranda lived in the other. But I just came down here twice a year, and of course I come to visit them, being as my kids was here and my grandkids. And my son moved down here after he, when he finished school and all, he moved down here too. But then in 93, not 93, in 09, I lost my daughter to diabetes. And when she passed away, her daughter was just 15. And rather than pull Miranda up and make her go to West Virginia to live with us, because Stacy was a single mom, we moved. Within a week, we had left our home and moved to Tennessee and moved in the trailer with her. And then we have 2 more grandkids, so we moved intending to go back when she graduated. But as it turned out, we ended up with 2 more granddaughters from my son, and we decided to stay. So we sold our house in West Virginia and bought a little house down here, and here we've been since then. So life changes in the beat of your heart, and you never know what God has in store for you, which direction you're going to go or what you're going to do. But I'm here with my kids, and that's where I want to be. Okay, I got another coat of orange on there, and that's going to cover. Now I'm going to go back and put that metallic that I got out over top of this metallic that I have, and see how that works. Okay. Oh, your daughter's name's Stacy. My daughter's name was Stacy. Yeah. Yeah, she loved it here. Loved it. She worked in the tourism stuff, so. But her and Miranda. So Miranda's been here all of her life, and now I have she's married, and I have a great-granddaughter. She has give us a great-granddaughter. So I've got girls. I've got 4. 3 granddaughters and a great-granddaughter. And there's just my son, my husband, and I, and the girls, and of course they're Miranda's husband. So we have a little family, but in West Virginia I've got a big family, so not much now, but I used to. And I like living here. It's convenient. We have good doctors. Everything's convenient. This looks good. Putting this metallic over this looks real good. Where we lived in West Virginia, you had to make a day to go to a grocery store because you had to go 50 miles to the nearest Walmart, so it took you all day. Okay, yeah, that metallic is showing up good now. Do my girls paint? No. Maddie does. Maddie's doing face painting this summer. They both have some talent. And Maddie's doing face painting. She's 16, and she's doing face painting in Dollywood, and she's enjoying that. They're painting kids' faces. And Morgan paints a little, but she sculpts clay. She does a beautiful job with clay. And she likes working on jewelry. She makes jewelry and stuff. She's 13. Maddie draws beautiful too. Maddie can draw, and she does a lot. She's a computer whiz, so she draws with her computer, and she's the one that's helped me to learn so much. She built her own computer. She took all of her computer apart and put it all in a new cabinet, so it's see-through, and it has lights all over it, and it's, you know, her and her dad both are like that. My husband had already retired. We'd retired from his work years ago when we came down here, so we'd already retired, but we worked the shows full time. We've been in the craft business for years and years and years, and we worked the shows right up till COVID. Or the show down here. We quit traveling, but we worked the Gatlinburg show right up till COVID hit. And if you're in town, next week starts the summer Gatlinburg show. If you've never visited, girls, if you've never visited that show, it's a great show. And there's about 200 crafters, and they're from all over the United States. And you'll find some real quality stuff in there. It runs 10 days in July, and then it runs 18 days in October. Okay, I like that metallic now. See, you can see the shine from the metallic now. See, I like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back, I think, and I'm going to pull a black line down the ribs. And put me a few little dots maybe in the white. Linda, I am blessed. Very blessed. God's been good to us. Okay, I'm down to my liner. I hope I didn't leave my liner brush in that water. because that's one thing I don't do. All my brushes can sit in that water except my liner brush. Pam, the show is in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and it's at the convention center. It's the Gatlinburg Convention Center. If you want to look it up online, in fact, I put a link on my page. I don't know if I put it on my business page here or not, but I did on my personal page. It's the Gatlinburg Craftsman's Fair. And you can bring it up online. They have a Facebook page, they have a website, and you can bring it up and see some of the things that comes out of there. Some of it's beautiful. Now I'm going to go right down between the blue ones, the aqua ones. Oh gosh, there's Tracy. She's one run the show for years. Hey, Miss Tracy. Oh, one of my favorite artists is at the Gatlinburg show, girls, and I'll tell you it's her husband, and he is one of the amazing artists. You go on that page and look at his work, you'll see some of the most beautiful things you've ever seen. He paints portraits. He'll paint anything you got, your dogs, your kids, whatever. Okay? I'm going to pull that line right down through there. And I will take it all the way to the bottom, but I'm not going to do that now because I have to finish painting that bottom. Okay? So I have come right down through this middle, see, down through there, and put that black line to divide that. And I'm going to do that all the way around. You all don't have but a few days, Tracy, till you'll be in there. And I'll be laid up with knee surgery. So I probably won't even get to visit. Okay. If you're hearing that beeping noise, that's my Etsy page. Somebody's clicking on my Etsy page. Okay, so I've gone all the way around with that. I'm using my liner brush and it's straight up and down, so I'm making a fine line, not a real thick one, not a fat line, just a real skinny fine line down through there. Okay, see how pretty that just puts another little division in there. Each one, I think I'm all the way around. Okay. Now, I think I will put polka dots in those in the white. I think I will put black polka dots in there, but I'm going to paint this stem first so I can show you how to paint this stem. And I'm going to do this one in the gold leaf here. I brought me over an old brush. Like I told you, girls, I don't use that much because I hate to clean the brushes. But I did pick me up an old brush before I come over here. I thought I did. So I could use it and then not have to clean it if I didn't want to. So let's see what I've done with it. Well, I thought I had one. Maybe I don't. Let me see what I've got in here. Okay, let's try this one. Okay. Now this stuff is you have to have mineral spirits or, you know, something to clean your brushes when you use this. It's a true gold and it's beautiful gold, but you have to use it, you know, it's not like acrylics, and it's real thin, so you have to be careful with it. But I'm going to paint the stem with the gold. Okay? The lines do make a difference. Like I said, Debbie, every little thing you do, you know, makes a difference in the you know, in the decorations. That's just like putting the, you know, if I go in now and put a dot at the bottom of each one of these. I missed a stripe there. Got them all but one. Okay, let's go back and get that one in. Pull this down. Okay, now I believe I got them all. So I could go back. I could also go around these little turquoise lines here and put little white dots all the way around each one. Let's get the stem painted, and then if it's good and dry, we'll try to see some of the dots. Just shake this paint up good and be very careful that you don't spill it, because it is a mess if you spill it. And it's so very thin, so that's why I don't like to use it. I'm going to set it right over here on my palette, and hope that I don't make a mess using it. Okay, now I'm going to pick up just a little bit because I don't want to get it over on my other, and I'm going to start right down here at the bottom of this stem and paint it gold. And I'm going to have to go down to a smaller brush to do that. Okay, let's see here. Let's try this one. Okay. This is a true gold, and it's a one coat coverage. You don't have to put any more on it. But now some sealers that you put over top of this dulls your paint. So when I put my varnish on this one, not a sealer, when I put my varnish on this one, I will put it on with a brush, and I won't put it on this gold paint because it dulls the gold when you do that. Some people will wait until after they varnish and put the gold on, and you could do that, but I'm just painting that, coming up that side, and then I'm going to come over here and do the other side. See how pretty that gold is? It's really a pretty color. Okay, go right on up here, and you got to get down under that stem. And I'm just right now I'm working out of my lid instead of dipping down in that bottle because I don't want very much on my brush because it's real thin and it may run on you. And if it runs into your other colors, then it's not good. So I'm just being real careful putting it on. I'm going to have to take some out of my bottle, and I'm just going to pour it in my lid. It looks, when you pour it out, it runs like gold, liquid gold. So I guess that's why they call it liquid gold. You don't clean your liquid brush. I just keep them aside, and when you go use them again, they soften back up when you dip them in the gold. Well, I didn't know that. I know I've used them. I clean mine. If I'm using a very good brush, I clean them. I've got a bottle of mineral spirits that they bring me from the wood shop, so I do clean them. But I never thought of that. I'll have to try that. If the gold softens them up again, then that's a good thing. You see that, girls? She said if you put them back in the same gold, use your same brush and put them back in there, then they'll soften up when you put the gold on them. So you may be able to reuse your brushes without having to clean them. This liquid stuff too, it comes in different colors. I think I've got some silver and some copper, but it's in different colors. I don't know if I've ever even used them or not. It's a beautiful color of gold. But it just, I forget and stick it in the water or whatever, when I'm working with it. If you see, I'm using a small brush because I'm getting way down in here where this is small, down in the middle, under this thing, and you want to get all those little spots covered. Mineral spirits is what I use, Eileen. Yeah, Joe brought me some jar from the shop. He used it in the shop, so he brought me some in a quart jar. And that's what I clean my brushes with. See, I'm working right on around that. Be sure you got all your spots covered on that stem. This is all you have to do to the stem too, is just put this coat of paint on it. You don't have to do anything else to it. It kind of speaks for itself. Almost covered it. Now when I get down here close to the pumpkin, I don't want to get that over into my orange, so just be very careful when you're going around that edge down there that you don't get that gold down in your other color. Okay, I think I've about got it covered. Okay. Okay, I think I've about got it covered with the gold. Okay, and that orange has turned out pretty good now. See, it took 3 coats to do that. I'm going to lay that brush, just lay it over there. Let me put the cap on this gold because I definitely don't want to spill it. Now, I think I will go back and do a little bit more of little work. And I'm going to go down to let's see if I brought a stylist over here. Okay. And I don't have. So let's see how little my brush handles are. I can use that one. I got an ink pen here. I think I can use that one because I just want little. And I'm going to put some little white dots right here above my night honey. Right here above my little humps, I'm going to put some little white dots on there. And I want them to be small. So I would either use my stylist or I'm going to use the tip of an ink pen. Well, my paint's about empty. That bottle's about had it. Okay, there we go. When you're making dots, you want your paint to be real good and, loose. So, but I'm going to use an ink pen. Makes a perfect stylist when you run out of ink and you got ink pens that you can't use no more. That makes a perfect stylist. I find my pumpkins at the Goodwill. Charlotte, you're lucky. Goodwill here don't have anything because people here, we have so many tourists, and they hit the thrift stores and the Goodwill here just like they hit Dollywood when they come to town. And, well, I've lost my, there it is. Let me pull my things down a little bit and see. Okay. If you're freezing, girls, it's probably on your end. You just have to go completely out and come back in again. Okay. Clean in vegetable oil. Just read the other comments, girls, and you'll see they're giving you some good ideas of how to clean your brushes. But our Goodwill here, you can't never find nothing. So I'm going to go in with I'm using an ink pen because it's got a little point on it. And I'm going to, right here, I'm going to put one in the middle. One. These are little tiny dots. And just work my way from the middle down. This is just another little accent that will make you look just a little bit better. One in the middle, and then work from the middle down to the edge. Now I'll go down to the bottom and do the same thing I'm doing up here to the top. I just am trying to get it finished enough for you to see it without me doing the whole thing, because it is time consuming. See what a difference that makes, having those little dots on there? That's so pretty. Just a little tiny touch of something else makes a world of difference. The center and then right on down. Now I'm not going to put them underneath because I have some white down there. So if I put them underneath, I would use a different color. See, that gold dries real quick because I've already got my hands on it. So. Okay, see how much difference that makes? Gosh, that's pretty. See, I have to say, I like that. And the metallic, you can see the metallic showing up. So that is, when I picked up the metallics, I got, this one is the teal, and I got some other colors. Let's see what the other colors I got in the metallics. I got one here in like a burgundy. It's called a berry. So that'd be a real pretty one too. So you can get them in different ones. The dots make a big impact. Every little thing you do makes an impact. You could come right on up through here. Let's just do that while we're doing it. We're going to go right in the middle here. No, can't do that because there's a dip there. Can't get them in there without making a mess out of them. They won't look like dots. They'll be ovals, so we'll not do that. We'll take our brush and get that out, and I may have to take a little bit of orange paint to get that back into where I need it to be. So just fill that spot right back up and not put them there. Okay, but that does every little dot, every little thing. I will do the same thing at the bottom that I've done down here. I will do the same thing. You could put a row of dots down this black in gold. Put a row of them gold dots right down the center of those black lines. And I could do that with my others. See if I've got my metallic over here. Let's try that and see what we look like if we put some gold down those sides of that black line. Okay. Now I think I'll use a little, no, let's see, let me try this little one and see how big it is. Okay, you can't hardly see that. So I think we need to go a little bit bigger with that one. Okay, so I'll use the wood end of my brush, use my wood brush, and this time I'm using the metallic. I've got the gold metallic on my brush. So I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to go right down the middle and make me a row of dots down the middle of those black lines that I put in there. Now I had thought about putting dots in the white, but since I'm putting these in the black, I won't do any in the white. I'll leave that white nice and clean. But all these little accent things, it's like I've told you about painting the other piece, all these little accent things is what makes it so pretty. Thank you, Gilda. Makes it so pretty. The more little nitpicky things you do to it, the more it looks painted and finished. Thank you for the hearts, girls. That lets, the more hearts we get, that lets Facebook know that that you are enjoying what I'm doing, and that puts it out there for me better. See how pretty that just makes that? Just makes a world of difference to all those little things that you do. I like this one. I'd rather paint one of a kind and do just one of a kind of everything is to paint them. But I have people say, well, you do me that one that you just done, or, you know, so you got to go back and try to duplicate them. That's why I have to take pictures of a lot of them, because I can't remember what I done to them. If I'm sitting doing them, I'm just working on them. See what a difference that makes? Look at that. Look at that. Oh, gosh, that's pretty. I'm proud of that one. See how pretty that is? And I think we're about done with it except the bottom. And I will go back and do that bottom exactly like I done the top. I'll put those other 2 coats of orange on that bottom. And I'll do the other on the top. And I showed you how to put the checks on, so you know how to get them on. And you can do, like I said, I'm going to do like 3 sections of black and white here. And then I'll put something else in the other sections. And then I'll show it to you online. And I have another one over here. It's like this, but it's a flat one. And I've already got a V drawn on it. So I'll do something similar to this on this flat one. I like both styles. This is the flat one, and this is the tall one. So they're just a little bit different in them. But I'll look at Hobby Lobby tomorrow when I'm at Hobby Lobby in the morning. I'll look and see if they're in yet. When I was in there the last time, but it's been about, I've not been in there this week, so it was last week since I've been in there. Okay, girls, I'll go back when I'm finished here and get off. No, they're not glass, Christine. I think they're resin, but they're, you know, they are breakable. Like I said, I had one here. Watch me have painted that one. I believe I painted the one I had. This is the pretty one. And the one, no, let's see. One of them was cracked on me. See which one it was. Oh, it's this one over here. So I'll paint that one and then give it to my granddaughter to decorate with. So that's okay. But the stem on the tall one is exactly the same as the stem on the squatted one. Okay, they're both the same stem on them. And then I got some that's metal. I don't know if I've pictured any of them or not. The liquid gold is, let's see here, it's called Liquid Leaf. That's the brand. Liquid Leaf. I think I got it on Amazon. It's from Plaid. It's Plaid Liquid Leaf. And it comes in different colors. And it's just aggravating to deal with, but it's pretty. So, you know, people enjoy it, and I enjoy it too. I just don't like to work with it. But it turns out good. Hey, Joyce, glad to see you. Girls, I'll go back and read all the questions, read all your comments that you made, and I've enjoyed this evening and hope you have too. But I'll do that later tonight, and I'll answer all your questions, and if you have any more, then just, you know, put them out there. And when I finish this one, I'll take a picture. When I get the bottom of it finished tomorrow, I'll take a picture and post it on the Hobby Lobby sale. Yeah, Hobby Lobby sells Liquid Leaf too. Yeah, I just, somebody said last year that it was going out of, you know, they was going to quit making it. And everybody jumped in and bought it like crazy. And I bought about 7 or 8 bottles like a crazy person. So I've got enough to do me probably for the next 5 years. So I haven't looked anywhere in a long time, but now Hobby Lobby does carry it. And they carry the metallic gold too. So it's just whatever your preference is. Okay, I've put Vaseline on the little liquid gold to keep it from sticking. Yep, you can do that. It's never on sale. No, it's not, Debbie. Some things they have, like their rub and buff, and some of that stuff is never on sale. It's just certain things that they have on sale all the time, and then certain things never go on sale. So you just have to kind of shop around to see where you get the best prices. Okay, girls, I hope you all have a good evening. And like I said, I'll be on my page here and working on my page next week, but I have to go to the hospital for pre-op, and I have to, you know, things I have to do here at home to get ready for that, to come back home. So I hope I'm not laid up very long, but I won't be teaching any next week. I'll be online, though, and chat with you or show you some more things. I did a tray this week with sunflowers on it. Hand me that tray over there, Daryl. That turned out beautiful. I'll show it to you now. And then I'll be, it turned out really pretty. See, I did this week, and I love the way it turned out. See how that is? and it was just a metal oval tray, and I painted it with the harlequin with the diamond designs, and then put the sunflowers on it. Okay, so it just turned out really pretty, but I like that one.
What time you have to
Okay. Are you going after her now, Joe? Okay, honey, you be careful. He has to go pick Maddie up from work. Okay, girls, I'm out of here. You all have a good night, and say a prayer for me and remember me when I'm at the hospital. Good night, girls.